Hey everybody, it's Allie. Today I thought I would do a get ready with me slash talk about my trauma because that's just my brand here on this channel. I'm not wearing any clothes right now. I've got a bathrobe on because I just took a shower. I don't want to get dressed until after I put makeup on because I'm gonna connect my clothes to what my makeup is. You see what I mean? It's just easier for me to do that way. Yeah. So with foundation, let's start about the foundation of my trauma. See how that works? See how that works right there? I am like moisturized and stuff. I don't use primers as much anymore because the primer that I was using just made my makeup come off faster, which seems super counterproductive. So no more of that for me. But yeah, the foundation of my trauma comes from my childhood, where I was sexually and emotionally and sometimes even physically abused by my stepdad and by my grandfather. He wasn't even really my grandfather, he was my stepdad's stepdad. Holy guacamole, this is oxidizing so dark. Okay. But yeah, that's a thing. And then in my early teens, or mid-teens, I guess, because I was 15, I had an attempted suicide. Drank some toilet cleaner, laid down in a bathtub full of ice cold water, and wanted to die. And in my suicide note, I had revealed the abuse that had occurred from my grandfather. Not from my grandfather, from my stepfather. And my mom set it to the side, told me it didn't happen. The huge. So, I have issues. That's the root of most of my issues. And, yeah. And then, when I was 18, I basically told a guy that I was dating that I don't trust my mother and that I don't believe in her ability to be a good parent or parental figure. He told her that, and she basically, denied anything ever happening and kicked me out. So, I skipped 2 states, and now I'm here. In a place where people believe me when I tell them things that happened, and they listen to me, and they value my opinion. And I've been doing actually super well since I got here. I have many triggers. Most of them will not be disclosed. The mini ones I will talk about, but I will not state exactly what about it or what part of it is the part that triggers me. I'm just going to say that it is a trigger for me. Being yelled at is a trigger. Being told I am not worthy is a trigger. Being told no one will ever believe me is a trigger. The smell of cigarettes or Budweiser is a trigger. I have quite a few triggers, if you haven't noticed. Here's a thing that most people don't know about PTSD. There is a thing called an anti-trigger. This is something that brings you out of being extremely triggered. For me, this is many things, like the smell of Coca-Cola, or the dog barking, or even a baby crying. Or, anything of the nature. Nice, sweet things that pull me out of triggers. So when I'm having an especially bad week, and I just feel like I cannot keep going on the way I'm going on, I will crack open a Coca-Cola, sit down and watch some of my anti-trigger videos on YouTube. I have an entire playlist that I will link in the description. I've sent this to many a peeps, specifically to get rid of anxiety and to get rid of triggers. Flashbacks are a thing that most people who have PTSD deal with. They are the objective worst part of my life. Being put back in that situation where you had absolutely no control and you could not save yourself no matter how hard you tried is pretty suck, honestly. Luckily, there are a few ways that I pull myself out of those flashbacks, and that is with anti-triggers. You see how it's all circular? There are a few things that I can do to prevent a flashback from happening. Getting under something that has weight. I will lay under a pile of laundry, or I will lay on my back and stare up at the ceiling. Anything that I can do to decrease the severity of this trigger is a good thing. So, when I do this, and I am trying to untrigger myself and try to avoid a flashback, the best thing possible that you can do is leave me alone. Let me have my moment. Let me deal with it myself. If you touch me or talk to me, it will freak me the fuck out. And no one wants me to be freaked the fuck out. So, in review, the best thing to do when someone is freaking the fuck out is to give them their moment and let them get through it themselves. Because if you try to coddle them, if you try to touch them, they will be thrown even deeper into that situation that they are trying to escape, and they will freak the fuck out. And we don't like it when people freak the fuck out. Why? Because it's painful for them and for us as their loved ones. So, there are a few other things that I wanted to talk about while making this video. And the reason that I'm doing it in a get ready with me type style is so I'm not focusing on the trauma. I'm focusing on something that I enjoy doing, putting on makeup. I'm not good at it, but that doesn't mean I don't enjoy it. Finding something to distract yourself is at most times of the utmost importance, because distracting yourself can help prevent any damage done by said flashback. And flashbacks come with setbacks. Like, if I have a particularly bad flashback, I'll not want to see or talk to a male of my species, because it becomes one of my fears again. And you see how detrimental that can be. You cannot go through life being afraid of an entire gender of people. You just can't do it. So, in order to combat that huge fear and try to avoid that happening, you have to nip the problem in the bud and try your hardest to avoid triggers in the first place, which can be difficult, considering one of my triggers is the smell of Dr. Pepper. And, it's a pretty common and popular drink. I just cannot be around even the slightest smell of it, because it will drive me into quite a deep spiral. And we don't like spirals, because spirals are hard to get out of. Just like bad memories. A flashback feels like you are there, and feeling like you're there in a place where you particularly do not want to be super sucks. especially when you've done so many things to get out of that shitty situation. I moved an entire state. I have had no contact with anyone from that time in my life. And yet, I still have days and moments where I feel like I can't breathe. And that is fine. Healing comes with time. That time may be a year from now, maybe 20 years from now. No one really knows. There's no cure to PTSD. There's no cure to bad memories. The only thing you can do is be there for yourself, know what you need to do to keep yourself up, and to be there for other people who have the same issues. If your friend, your child, your mother, your father, anybody you know has these types of issues, the best thing you can do is be there for them. If you're not there for them, you will live to regret it. At least that's what I tell myself. I don't want you to look at this video, watch it, and think, oh God, Allie's having a bad week. She's not okay right now. I'm fine. I'm living my best life, in fact. I'm having a great time where I am. I'm happy with who I am. But it stands to the fact that trauma doesn't just go away. You have to battle your demons. You cannot just ignore them. And the only way to completely get rid of that shitty feeling that you have is to die. But you don't want to die. And you know why? Because you don't know when the next step holds. Could be something worse. Could be something better. We just don't know. But that also means that you don't want to find out. So, allow yourself to hurt for a while. Allow yourself to be who you are unapologetically and unfiltered. And that, my dears, is why I am not going to edit this video. I'm going to post it, and I'm not going to read the comments. Why do I need someone else telling me what I have and haven't been through when I already know? It just doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to do me, you're going to do you, we're all going to be happy. Some way, somehow, we're going to figure it the fuck out, and we're going to keep our shit together. Because if we don't, we're failing our younger selves that wanted us to be happy, that wanted to get out of that situation. Because even though you may have physically removed yourself, you are going to be there the rest of your life, unless you do something about it. And doing something about it may just mean actually physically getting out of the situation. Or it may mean going to therapy. It may mean getting medicated. It may mean finding someone that you can connect to and talk to. Someone who's not licensed as a therapist, but you know serves as one. Find someone that you trust. Find a way to get over your certain fears. For me, my fear of men, I became a little less afraid after watching Onision videos. He made me less afraid of men, and I will always love him for that. Does he have his shitty moments? Yeah, definitely. Did he help me in that specific time? Yes. Do I feel like I owe him for that? Hell yeah. This is why I will never turn my back on that man. My other triggers, things that get me really afraid. The smell of Dr. Pepper. I found a friend that I really like that drinks it. That easy. Have him drinking around me every once in a while, and for some reason that helps. The smell of cigarettes, I haven't tried to do anything with because I just, there's no point. I don't want to smoke cigarettes. I don't want any part of that. It causes cancer anyway. Why would I bother? There will always be a part of me that will be afraid. And that part of me is okay. I am allowed to be afraid. What I'm not allowed to do is let it affect me to the point of where I'm not allowing myself to grow as a person and not allowing myself to heal as a victim. And having a victim mentality is also not a good thing. Sometimes the best thing you can do is look yourself in the mirror and say, get the fuck over it. Because feeling sorry for yourself will do nothing but make you feel more sorry for yourself and then continue to allow you to be a victim. And no one wants that. So, in conclusion, in order to grow and to heal as a person, you have to be aware of what hurt you in the first place. You have to be aware of why it hurt you. And you have to be aware of how you can fix it. Now, this does not mean that whatever traumatized you is your fault. It most definitely probably isn't. But you will still have to find a way to heal. You will still have to find a way to keep yourself on the up and up and keep you from becoming a drug addict, a person that people just don't want to be around, to keep you from becoming the exact type of person that caused you to have that level of trauma in the first place. This is why I hate drugs. I cannot stand the idea that I could become that person just by hanging out with someone who does that. I cannot stand the idea of being a cog in that cycle of a machine of abuse and pain and fear. So I distance myself from it. And I'm allowed to do that. And I'm allowed to voice my opinion. Because I was there. And no one can account for your suffering but you. So when someone tells you, be calm, don't worry about it, people have been through worse, you tell them, maybe, but they cannot account for how I felt. So, I want everybody to just take a breath, realize that they can grow and that they are a happy person, and that they could be whoever they wanted to be in the first place, even despite what they have been through, and keep going. Keep breathing. Keep making the steps that you want to make to be that person despite your trauma and despite your hurt. And, of most of all, back to your regularly scheduled suffering. Love y'all.